Hey everyone, this is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today we'll be talking about selling your shoes to retail. So if you have a great product and you want to sell to retailers and it's a shoe product, this little training will give you some things to think about in regards to doing that. With that said, let's get started on today's training. So let's talk about selling shoes. Shoes is an interesting one. I actually get a lot of people who've reached out to me over the years who sell shoes. And I never get to sit down and have these conversations with you guys for these types of products, because usually if I focus on something so niche, people get cranky with me on my channels. Oh, we're doing shoes today. Shoes is an interesting category in that you have some issues with it. First of all, the manufacturers can produce these products very cheaply, and big companies run the ship with a lot of these shoes companies and so forth in retail, right? Because they have the money to spend for the inventory. You need different sizes. You need different situations set up for it. So it's a tricky business because you're dealing with a lot of competition from the big guys who have the money to back all the different shoe sizes and so forth. And then there's ones where you're dealing with the super high-end product, and that's different than selling something that's cheaper and so forth. So first of all, you have to figure out where you are in your business. Are you going super high-end? Are you going mid-tier? Are you going pretty cheap? The buyers are not opposed to buying from you and a small company as well. They do not mind it. They're looking for new, interesting innovation for shoes. And so the reason I say that is a lot of you are thinking that you need to be a big company to sell shoes, and or you're stuck in some way. The buyers are actually pleased with new, interesting shoes. That it's an ongoing thing. People are looking for new stuff all the time, and shoes are very creative. It's a creative outlet. And now more than ever, these retailers need to break through with the competition for shoes. Everyone needs shoes, and they know it. And so it's a great business, but it's also complicated, right? Because a lot of you can't afford it. But if you can, if you figure that part out, they're looking for you. So that's number one. Number two is you got to figure out if you are going to be, what tier you're going to be in. The cheap stuff, you're dealing with more competition because there's a lot of the big players are playing in it. However, when there's so much of that going on, innovation is hard, so they'll still be excited about you. So that's something to think about. Again, lower tier means more volume you're selling, less ability to be able to support yourself on a per unit basis, meaning you don't make as much money on a per unit basis, but you make money on the overall whole of the bigger deal. Mid-tier, you're selling at like the Nordstroms, that's mid to high tier of the world, that type of retailer, Macy's and so forth. Still inexpensive, but not too inexpensive. Those retailers sell a lot of shoes, and they also need to make sure that you have your manufacturing in place, you have money and so forth to be able to withstand them. So they'll be taking a look at your inventory and how you're handling your business, because they need to make sure that it's not going to be a headache for them. And the higher tier, they are really inspired by super creative concepts and very high quality material, and they don't buy nearly as much. And so part of this is mostly because they don't have a lot of room for this, or the online market. So depending on the type of shoe you're selling, you have to think through, what do I want? Because some of you are selling super high-end shoes and you're having a really hard time selling it, probably because there's not that many people can buy as much as the cheaper stuff, but you don't want to break the mold and you really want to stick to what you're doing. But if you maybe recreated it with a manufacturer who can reduce the price a little bit, then maybe you can sell it to more stores and help yourself make a living versus just wanting it in a very particular way, which a lot of you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just another way to think about it. Maybe you can have a high-end shoe, and then you can create a mid-tier shoe and or a cheaper shoe, and ultimately you get to play with that and decide how you're going to handle that scenario based on your lifestyle choices and so forth. There's pros and cons to all of it. And the ultimate reality is you can work through a distributor. You can also go directly to stores yourself. My recommendation is if you can try to get the shoe buyer to buy your product directly, I would try that and make sure that you don't get stuck on, I want to be the exclusive brand sometimes when you want to be exclusive, but you're not making any money. So maybe there's a way that you can, again, maybe not kill your branding with the high-end stuff, but maybe create a mid-tier, feed your family, take care of yourself, and then go back to the higher tier when you're the cool cat. And I respect it. Some of you are really creative and you don't want to sell out, but the alternative is you do something else for a living. There's just not as many people who can afford your shoes. But that happens with every category that is like this. And the bottom line is the buyers you're looking for are either the shoes buyer, accessories buyer, and then based on the type of retailer you want to sell to, you got to choose accordingly. Now, there is another way to sell it, which is to the individual shoe stores and the smaller ones. That requires a lot of really being out there and opening up doors, opening up individual retail store accounts. And that is a whole other business model where you're literally driving in your car or hiring people to go out there and show your shoes in different places and boutiques and this type of stuff. That's a whole other business model. We're just going to focus on the bigger stores, the DSWs of the world. They have lots of room. Again, it's cheap. Again, it comes down to you, what you want. I just wanted to give you different ideas and options and suggestions. And obviously the online market is complicated. A lot of people are going to return it because the shoes don't fit. You just have to remember that you need some cushion if you're going to be selling shoes. Hopefully this gives you an idea of the shoe market. If you want to learn how to approach, pitch, and sell these retailers, how to get them to buy, what words to use, please take a look at what we do. Retail MBA is our company. We are a consultancy and a rep agency, and we are always creating new content. And I hope this helps. Karen Waksman, Retail MBA. Please subscribe. Keep in touch. Thanks.